Uh, am I audible, sir? Sir, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible. You are audible.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, sir.
Thank
Clear,
you.
sir. Clear sound is there.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening to all the participants, and special thanks to the IMPS College for inviting me to this webinar session. Uh, Coming to my topic, adaptable and adjustable methodologies to progress in academic and research activities during COVID-19 period. So this topic I have chosen because now everybody knows that the situation is a panic situation, and we are struggling a lot uh, in our academic activities as well as research activities, in personal life, in professional life. We are getting a lot of problems, and our regular activities are not in a regular way. So I have chosen this particular topic especially for the faculty members, as well as some of the tips for the students also. I have prepared this presentation for them also. I have prepared the presentation. Hope you can get something out of this presentation, and it may be useful to the academicians as well as for the researchers. So, so the simple thing now, due to this COVID, our future is unequally distributed. So we should not think that everything is distributed, everything is disturbed, but we have to think in another way. That is, because of this problem, future is unequally distributed. So we have to make it in a sequence, and uh, we have to have a systematic situation to overcome this problem. So due to this COVID, uh, you are hearing so many webinars from last 3 months, and everybody speaking about how to do research, how to publish articles, how to conduct academic activities, or some special subject related webinars and all those things. You are listening all these things, and you are gaining some knowledge out of it. But how to handle this particular situation, especially for the teachers? We all belongs to the community of teachers. So how to handle this particular situation? How to engage the classes? How to rejoin with the academic activities during this period? So regarding that, we will discuss. So if you look at the impact on the global education about the COVID, this figure is representing learners enrolled at pre-primary and lower secondary and upper secondary levels of education. Uh, the in February, you can see the statistics. The curve is around 0.3 billion, but when it comes to the March end, 1.38, maximum 1.38 billion people are enrolled towards this particular situation in the global education. And national wise, you can see this. And here we have to look into one aspect. That aspect is how administration is looking. This is especially for the faculty members. Once the situation arrived, how the administrators are thinking, how the management is thinking, because so many of us are feeling that is there is any job guarantee for us, because whether they can afford or not. Once students are not coming to the universities, not coming to the schools, not coming to the colleges, then what is our situation? So how to survive? So many doubts are there for the faculty members, and management's also thinking in a different way. So whatever I am going to show, this is the perspective of the management. A survey was conducted in April month 2020. So the statistics you can see here. So if you look at the first one, provide tuition refunds, whether the management is willing or not. Just look at here, 88% management people are not willing to provide the tuition refunds, because money is not with the government. Even government is also not sanctioning any projects, any sponsored projects, any kind of projects. No productivity is there in the industry. So they are also not offering any projects. So whatever projects that we are looking from last 3 to 4 months are connected to the solutions to the COVID situations only, like preparing sanitizers, preparing some machinery, and to whatever softwares they are preparing, that also how to maintain the social distance, how to manage those things, related projects only going on. Whatever regular projects for the societal needs, we are not doing exactly. Every project that is going from last 3 to 4 months are connected with the COVID, how to overcome that particular COVID related situations. Those things only going on. And coming to the provide room and board refunds. So 85% are showing the willing, and drawdown endowment principle, 73% are not willing, and freeze hiring. Yeah, this is the most important. The fourth one you can see, freeze hiring. So no university or no college giving advertisement. A few colleges and universities are giving, but most of the colleges stop their advertisement regarding recruitment of faculty members. So few colleges who are economically strong and who are having funding from the management, so they only giving the advertisement. And in that case also, what they are doing is they are removing their faculty members who are not performing well, and in that place they want to recruit the people, faculty members who are having good research and good academic experience, and they are looking for the best. Simply saying, they are looking for the best. uh, Lay off staff and increase part-time faculty. So just look at the situation. Uh, but the positive thing is re-engineer operational processes. 96% they are thinking about how to come out of this situation, what kind of modules, what kind of devices, what kind of methodologies that we have to follow. Those things they are more concentrated. And now what is the responsibility on us? So what we need to co-create for the future, what to do, because everywhere situation is not in our control. So how to co-create, how to build again. So we have to think about that particular thing. And if you look at here, this is for faculty as well as the students. On a lighter way, if you want to speak, generally when colleges are running and schools are running, students try to bunk the colleges, try to go out of the college, out of the school, like that. But from last 3 to 4 months, if you see, they are saying that we are missing all those. Whatever activities they are doing regularly, they are posting that they are missing all those. Yes, it is 100% correct. We are going to miss that particular environment, not only for the students, for faculty also, because we are asking the faculty members to turn from a traditional kind of teaching, a blackboard kind of teaching methodology, to online teaching. So it is not that much easy. Simply every management, every college, every school, they are simply saying that you shift from this methodology to that methodology. Okay, they are saying, but are you ready for that? Are you ready? Do you have any proper training on that? So whatever senior people and whatever management people they are saying all these things, they also don't have any experience regarding this particular like in this situation. So this situation we are facing first time, and how to adjust and how to adapt the things, how to teach the things in the online in a better way. So strictly speaking, nobody knows. Nobody knows. If you have at least one semester experience or at least 1 year experience, then we can guide the people and we can give some suggestions, and we also knows what to do, what not to do, and all those things. So really we are missing this particular environment. This environment is very pleasant environment in the classroom. Whatever you are going to convey, everybody will listen, and you can monitor the people whether they are following or not. And once they are following, so then you can continue, and if any kind of disturbance or any odd situations are there, you can solve those because people are in front of you. But now e-learning came into the picture and online classes came into the picture. In this situation, do you really ready with the complete preparation? If you ask anybody, their answer is they will say we are prepared for this particular situation partially, not completely. And here we know very well that we have two types of methods. We have either going with online or with the classroom. So people are in the dilemma, people are in the confusion state, what to do now. And if you look at some of the admissions of some of the institutes, some of them open, some of the schools they are going to open, some of the colleges they are going to open, some of them are daring to start the work. So for them also they are facing lot of problems, and parents are not willing to send their wards to the university, even though the management says that we have all the facilities, we have all the infrastructure, and our people are well trained, and we can handle that situation. We can conduct the classes online. In that case, also parents and other members are not in a situation to understand that, as well as they are not having the faith on the words whatever they are saying, how they can conduct, how they can control. They are having lot of doubts. So coming to the online, the effective things, what you can do is you can give the lecture. You will be, suppose this webinar, you take the example. I am giving the webinar, and from one side, and everybody, whoever attending to this particular webinar are faculty members and well-disciplined scholars and students. You are listening it very carefully, and you want to get out, you want to get some information out of it. But there will be so many students. Once you start the online classes are normal in a normal way, so how many of your students are ready to listen for 1 hour, 2 hours online classes? So even though we think that they are ready, and they will listen, so in that case also some of the things are effective uh, with online, and some of the things are not effective. So if you take the example lecture, okay, you can give the lecture and other people will receive, who are having interest. At least, for example, out of 60 members who are attending your lecture, online lecture, so out of 40, out of 60, at least half of the people will pay attention. Okay, that is okay. Up to certain extent it is okay. Giving lecture online, that is okay. Discussion, that is also okay. You can have the options, you can chat, you can interact, and you can ask the questions, they will respond. That is also up to certain level. I cannot give the complete guarantee that those are perfectly effective. uh, and next, demonstration, you can give demonstration, you can show your products, you can show your content, you can demonstrate the things, and you can facts, all the facts you can discuss. And theoretical exercises, whatever theoretical exercises are there, theoretical theory based classes are there, you can explain those. So in the online mode, lecture, discussion, demonstration, facts, theoretical exercises, okay, that is up to certain extent okay, but not effective. Some of the things you cannot deal, even though some solutions are there, those are not effective. Those are experimental exercises. So how to conduct, suppose a person has to conduct a laboratory experiment. For example, a chemistry person is there, a scholar is there. How can you explain him to do an experiment uh, by taking the chemicals, compositions, and all those things? The thing, how you will explain? How he can perform at home? That is highly impossible. And physicality you are missing. So once the faculty member is present in the class, the attention of the student will be different. But when online classes are going on, we cannot expect that everybody are listening. So in so many webinars, in so many classes, online classes, what happens, simply people will put their mic in mute and video in mute, and they will be relaxing, and after completion of that webinar they will come back for filling the feedback form, because they are going to get the certificate. So physicality you will miss, and role plays, those things you will miss. Because if you, as a faculty member, as a presenter, if you are physically present there, you can do so many activities, you can interact, you can do so many things. But in the online lecturing it is not possible. So these are the effective and non-effective things. And we know very well that different kinds of online classes, in different ways we can conduct. synchronous real-time interactive kind of things you can do with Zoom, WebEx, GoToMeeting, Adobe Connect. So many things are there. I did not to read out. Everybody from last 3 to 4 months, they are having good experience with all these tools, and they are attending so many programs. And in this, attendees can raise hands. That opportunity is there if you want to take the attendance, if you want to take the response. At least you can ask whether you are following or not. They will interact with you by raising their hand, and they will present something. Some group work you can do with that. And some of the massive open online classrooms are there. We call it as MOOCs. So some of the faculty members, students are doing Coursera, edX, Edacity, MIT. So many platforms are there. Through those platforms, they are doing so many courses. So these days, some of the universities are giving equivalent also. If any student completes a Coursera in a on a particular subject, in their regular, there is no necessity to attend that particular class. A regular class student need not to attend. If he completes Coursera, the equivalent weightage or equivalent marks they are giving. And asynchronous moderator LMS based interactions are there, and Moodle, Blackboard, so many options are there. And here in asynchronous and moderated course material, you can share, you can discuss, you can conduct the online test, and quizzes you can conduct, and a Dropbox homework, you can give some homework, you can assign to them, chat for office hours, podcasts and vodcasts. So many things are there you can do. But think about all these things, whether they are doing or not. Suppose for example, if I give an online test, or if I post if I post anything to the students, whether they only doing it or not. We are having all some of the uh, participants are parents also. You know very well that if teacher gives homework to your ward, most of the times you have completed that homework. So and teacher thinks that the student has done. You are also having that experience. Like that, students also will do. They will ask their seniors, they will copy from the online whatever task that you have given. Simply they will copy paste the things and submit to you. But we have to think whether we will think that they have done that, and based on that you will give marks. And finally what happens? A big zero. And hybrid flipped classes type of things also people are planning. So what they are planning is whatever they want to teach in the class, so they are making a small video on that, and they are giving to the students and the scholars before their presentation, and they will be ready. The students and scholars will see those things and see that video, and whatever task that we have given, they will come prepared for the class. So just it is a concept like class they are flipping. So whatever thing they have to do at home, that they will do, assignments they will do in the class. And whatever video that we posted, whatever information that we have given, that will see at their home. So it is like a simply the classwork is flipped. And what challenges we will face, and pedagogy for online classes, online challenges. So multi-channel attention is a big task. Lecture, type, read, charts, respond. So you have to do a lot of things. You have to give lecture, and you have to interact with them, and you have to present so many things, and you have to respond. So many problems are there. And to sustain the engagement, so it is very easy to start your session with enthusiasm. But throughout the class, suppose a faculty member is to take at least 3 hours class, for example. Initial days you will be very active, you will take, because the environment is new, you also in a boosted mode, and you will try to give the information to the students. But slowly over a period, so your energy levels will go down. And suppose you are taking 1 hour class, first 15 minutes it will be interactive and good. People also join, and they will also in the active mode. But after half an hour, what is the situation? After 1 hour, suppose you are taking 2 hours or 3 hours class, whether students are able to listen 3 hours class, it is a big question. And next, lack of non-verbal feedback, that is the problem. Too many conversation or none at all. You will ask the question whether you are following something you will ask in class. Suppose it is a physical class, you will ask some question by pointing to certain a particular student member, and he will answer to that, and if he is unable to answer, you will give the answer. Some interaction will be there in online. So even though you have given a question, uh, if 10 members knows out of 50 members, if 10 members knows the answer, if everybody unmute their mic and start speaking, you can't listen. So much disturbance you will get. Sometimes that kind of situations will be arranged. Sometimes uh, none of them will speak. These days we are getting comedy videos also, how the students will behave when you are asking online whenever you are asking a particular question. And sometimes few members will dominate. Suppose out of 50 members who are attending to your class, only one or two members will keep on speaking, but remaining members will not speak. Only two members will dominate and feel that you, as a faculty member, what you will feel, okay, I got the answer from any one of them. So you will be happy with that. But what about the remaining 48 members, whether they are following or not, you don't know. And building coherence, conducting chaos, and emergence improvisation tend to be extreme. Sometimes extreme, it will go beyond, sometimes it is low. So these are the online challenges we have. And pedagogy for online classes, what to do, generally what people are thinking, how to conduct. So pre-class, so content management online, so contingency plans, alternative ready to go. So whatever you are going to prepare content management online, you have to prepare the things. You have to prepare the ppts, interactive videos, quiz questions, and active learning methods you have to prepare, connect related to the online lecturing. So much preparation will be there before the class. Content management online, you have to prepare, you have to plan all the things. And something what happens, suppose you are going to give class through Zoom. So Zoom will be come up to only 45 minutes. After that you have to look into alternative, or again you have to log in. So some alternative kind of things also you have to think before going to present your class. And in class practices are needed. So let students speak. You have to make the student, you should ask certain questions, and whether students are responding or not, those things you have to observe. Let students speak, wait for that, and keep it interactive using cold calls, polls, chat to comment. So sometimes if they are unable to speak, some due to the bandwidth and all the problems, at least you should have that information through chat box. And post class, after completion of class also, a lot of work is there. So pre-class, you have to prepare all the things. You have to look into the alternative going while giving the lecture. You have to give chance to them to speak, and you have to make the class interactive, and students should not feel bored. Sometimes you have to add some comics in between, and you should engage. Finally, you should engage, and uh, you should transmit the information to the students in an effective way. And post class also, things are there. You have to follow up emails and online post whatever students will ask. So many questions through chat box, you have to pull all those things, and you should give answers. You have to respond to them. If it is a direct class, you can directly give the answer, but here you have to look into the chat box, what questions they asked and what answer you have to give. Everything you have to prepare. Blogs or wikis, and repository and space to continue reflections and simple assignments. You have to prepare so many assignments. So many things are there. And coming to, these are the challenges you have, and how to do, what to do before class, while going the when class is going on, and after the class what to do. All the things are given. But whether the faculty members are having that much skill to motivate the students towards the online classes, and they can, whether they can handle or not. So if you look at this particular picture, some of them are really afraid about this particular. Sorry, this person you can see, he is. They are, some faculty members are unable to take the online classes. They have a lot of fear to take the classes, and some of the students also feel they also don't know how to connect to that particular class, how to follow the class, they have the fear. And some of them about to start, but they are having some starting problem. And some of them are anyhow they are trying to do the things. But if you have the good skill, then only you can come out of that particular situation and you can deliver in a best way. So skill gap in moving from traditional teaching to novel technology. So most of the faculty members are connected, and they will get, most of the time they will take classes in a traditional way, a blackboard teaching only they will do. And some of the subjects demands also like that. So mathematics subject is there, you can't go beyond the blackboard. But now this is the time to change. The situation is demanding us to go from traditional tech to the novel tech. And you as a faculty member, you should not say that I belongs to some economics subject, I don't know the computers, how to use the computer, how to prepare the online content. You have to do the things, you have to adopt the things. So and what things, what are the skill gaps you have? Course design. Up to now we are preparing the courses, you are preparing the course material, you are preparing that course handouts, you are preparing course handouts, what to deliver, how to deliver, and all those things, all those things you have prepared with respect to traditional classes, with respect to traditional teaching. But are you ready? Do you have that skill to create the course? You can, are you able to design the course for the online? A big question. And next, pre-class preparation. How to prepare for the online class? What kind of situation we are going to face? What kind of problems we are going to arise related to that? We don't have any idea. And pre-class preparation, so much pre-class preparation is there, and we have to take all the situations. And if this situation arises, I have to respond like this situation arises, I should respond like this. You have to prepare before going to the class. And in class practices, in class, while class is going on, you have, whether you are ready to engage the class with respect to the new technology, new technical presentations, and impressive delivery. Are you able to give the impressive delivery? Because if general topics are there, for example, we take this topic I am speaking, and you are able to listen and you can understand the things. But when it goes to the subject, real subject, technical subject, for example, a subject like electromagnetic field theory, can you give the impressive delivery during that online class? Next, post class follow up. Okay, once class is over, after that, what assignments you have to give, what quizzes you have to conduct, how to assess the student. So they are attending the class, okay, 1 hour 2 hours they are attending the class, and you are giving some questions, they are giving some answers. Do you know the mechanism how to assess the people, how to give the grading to them based on their answers, whatever they have posted? Assessment strategy we don't know. And healthy coordination is there or not? So among the faculty as well as among the whenever you are delivering with the students, you are having that healthy coordination or not? So all these things, skill gap is there, lot of gap is there. So how to maintain and manage online classes? Here also you can ask one question, sir. You are saying that situation is like this, and nobody are ready to give the classes. Nobody are having experience. Then how can you give that? How to maintain the manage the classes and all these things as a webinar to us? So whatever knowledge I have and whatever analysis that I have done from last 3 months. So whatever I think that this is best way, and these things can be planned. So those things I collected all those things and I am presenting to you. And in whatever I am going to present to you in this, some of the things, I cannot say that everything whatever I am going to present is useful to you, but some of the tips and some of the things may be useful. But when it comes to the real time situation, which tip will help you, god knows. I cannot give guarantee regarding that particular thing. But after doing lot of analysis, I am presenting in front of you, this may be useful to you in a particular situation. So how to maintain and manage the online classes? So to manage the online classes, first and foremost thing is develop simple templates and systems. Whatever class or whatever subject that we are going to present, so don't confuse the students with so much information in the slides, and whatever you are going to present, so don't confuse them. Whatever you are going to present in a simple way. Okay, so the first initially test, everybody knows the Bloom's taxonomy levels and all those things. You just go with basic understanding level only. Okay, whether first if the students are understanding that particular basics whatever you are giving, if you are giving things in a simple way, first they will adopt the things. They will slowly, for them also it is a new thing, they slowly come into your track. So my suggestion is develop simple templates and systems first, and next user friendly orientation. Whenever you are speaking with the students in the class, in that online classes also, whenever you are giving the online lecture, so maintain that friendly orientation. And like in the class, don't shout and all those things, because if you are shouting, simply what they will do, they will simply put you in the silent mode. So they have their options. So ordination should be in a friendly way, as well as orientation, use friendly orientation kind of things. And the next thing is easy to search and curate. So whenever you are preparing the things, whenever you are giving assignments, in that case also don't put burden, because first time you are experimenting the online classes in India, all the universities, whenever you are giving things first time, so even the questions whatever you are asking, even the assignments, even whatever you are going to give to assess them, first give in the simple way. And if they search properly, they will get the information. So don't give a big mathematical problem kind of things, which they cannot do by doing a simple search. Okay, so give them chance to give your assignments by simple search, and with a in a simple way, with basic information, and maintain good academic rhythm. So initially, first classes you will take with enthusiasm in effective way. Over the period, your levels will go, and you will maintain that rhythm. You will not maintain that rhythm. So try to have that rhythm, academic rhythm, and interaction, a friendly interaction with the student. Then things will go in a smooth way. And peer-to-peer network with effective model is important. uh, and move from control to trust. So don't think that I'm going to control when I'm giving class. So if someone is speaking, or some, because of they don't know the things, someone unmute sometimes. So don't go in a don't go with words like why you open that, why you are doing like that. Don't be in a harsh way. So don't try to control. Build a trust the students, and they will listen to you. Once you once you build the trust, so automatically try to get them in your track. And once they come into your track, then automatically a bondage will be there, then everybody will listen to you. And multiple centers of excellence create, and experimentation and discovery kind of things you try to adopt, at least if it is not possible to all subjects, at least for the design oriented subjects, through virtual labs and through some software tools, you try to have that. And provide new opportunities with new talent, and encourage them. If anybody gives any suggestion, or anyone gives any if they give answer in a different way, and please encourage them, don't discourage whenever they are participating. And if you take the online classes, things will be like this. You cannot take all the classes in the online. Some of the classes you can learn, but things will not go all the days in a same way. So while learning the karate initial days, okay, it is okay, but slowly the things will be like this. And the problem here is most of the faculty members and students are not willing to switch to this particular situation related teaching. And the forced tech adoption to the faculty and students will be like this. If you ask who wants to change, everybody will rise, but when you ask who wants to change, nobody will be there. So whatever I suggestion to the management also, some of the managements don't put lot of pressure on the faculty, because those members also doing it first time, and whatever things that are required, you give the proper workshop training to them, and ask the experts at least who are already handling those situations, who can give a better solution. Ask them and give proper training, and after one or two trials only, then you go with the real kind of. And the stress is lot of stuff is there now on the faculty as well as in the students. In some of the universities, even students not completed their examinations also, and some of the universities conducted exams for the students through online, and faculty members are in insecure position these days. They don't know whether students will join or not, whether management will pay the salaries or not. So many things are there, freaking out about how to teach virtually. And this, once you tell that you have to take classes online, you have to engage the things, you have to do all these things, so many assignments, so many inputs, so many from so many directions. If you are giving all these things, I think they are about that virus, they are having the virus. So this will be the situation. People working from the home, day one very active, and slowly by every day, because of lot of disturbance in the classes, and because of connectivity problems, because of sometimes they cannot express some certain things on the blackboard, whatever they can teach, that they cannot teach in online. So they cannot maintain that rhythm. They cannot maintain.
बबली
So
तूने मेरे को कैसे बताया था
and
ऑडियो ऑफ करनी है आपने
and online study is okay for the students, because they will sit at their homes in a relaxed mode like this, and they can listen, simply they are listening the things. But think about the poor teachers. So they have to prepare a lot for this online study, because they adapted to that particular traditional teaching, and now they have to co-create everything. New things they have to create, lot of preparation is there, they have to engage their family, and they have to look into all these things. So many problems are there these days. For the students it is not a big problem, but for the faculty members this is a very big problem. For students, the simple thing, if they have good bandwidth internet connectivity, they can at their home they can sit in a relaxed mode and they can listen. But for faculty members it is so many things are there, and most of the online classes will be like this. Forget about the faculty members, or the students are ready. Some of the students will be like this. Faculty members keep on giving lectures, lecture, and students simply he will be in a sleeping mode, and he will put his picture in front of the screen, and faculty member think that yes, the student is listening. So this is the situation, current situation. So you have so many challenges now as a faculty member. You have to engage students who are doing things like this also. And students also should be ready with certain things. And in this case, the problem is, earlier case, faculty member is teaching. Yes, I am teaching, and he will pour whatever there in his mind, everything he will pour. And sometimes students will take that, and they have their own protection. They will be ready with their umbrella. That means they will not listen. And even though you are a knowledge source and you want to give so much information, so most of the times they are not ready to accept. So their mind moves around so many activities, so many things. You have to engage. That is the main problem. Even though personally also, if you want to engage the person, and if you keep on giving lecture, he will feel bored. And in the second picture you can see that you are pouring so many things. So in the online classes also, give limited thing information. Suppose you are going to take a class, take class for only 40 minutes or 45 minutes. Don't take class for 3 hours, 4 hours, because today Monday English teacher will take the class, Tuesday social teacher, Wednesday science teacher, and they want to give the entire chapter in one day. If you think like that, nothing will happen finally. And students also should be ready with certain things. Those are think, pair, and share kind of things they have to do. So they have to understand the situation, and they have to think about whatever questions they have given, whatever lecture they are going to receive. Out of that, what to do, what things they have to collect, all those things, and pair. They can have interaction with the other students, and once class is over, they should discuss. They have to share the content if they are having doubts. Every time they will not get a chance to interact with the faculty, because in a normal situation in the class, if they are getting any doubt, they will come to your chamber, and there you can address their doubts. But here there is no such kind of situation we have, and that facility, whatever time slot we have given, in that time slot only they have to connect, and there only they have to ask the doubts. After the class, if they got the doubts, up to next class they have to wait. So in between, student can share those things with other fellow students and with their seniors, and they can get the things before the next class and participate in technical debates. Student has to actively participate in the technical debates once the thing faculty member is initiated those things. And fishbowl discussions, so some activity kind of thing they will give, suppose a particular question based, some answers they will give, some information they will give. Out of that, they have to discuss, and they have to uh, choose and collect a particular thing. So some activities, active learning methodologies are there. So they should participate in those and try to understand concept and mapping. So student need to understand that concept, and they have to map that with respect to the real time applications. Then only things will happen. And peer teaching, so peer learning, one activity is there in the active learning method. Peer learning means final year student will take the lecture for the third year student, third year will take lecture to the second year student, who are seniors. They will take, who are having technical knowledge in that particular subject, they will take the class, and they only discuss with their juniors and their fellow classmates. He only act as a faculty member, and he will take some classes after college hours, after school hours. In that case, what happens, these students who are having fear of interaction with the faculty member, they can interact easily with their classmates, and they can easily interact with their seniors, and the knowledge they will share. They can share the knowledge and adopt best practices. And this is the thing student has to do. And it's a spring season. Don't think that this is the panic situation, and this is unequally distributed all the things. So take this as a challenge, and think that this is a springtime for us, for Indian education. We are adapting new things, and we are experimenting so many things. Finally, we should get the solutions for all the problems whatever we are going to face. And coming to the laboratory part, for the institute, for some of the departments, for some of the subjects, they can do even laboratory experiments also through virtual labs. So Ministry of Human Resource Development, with the connection with IITs and NITs, they have prepared that facility of virtual labs. You can see here some subjects, digital logic design using gates. IIT Bombay prepared something. 8051 microcontroller and application related subject, IIT Bombay prepared. Digital applications, like so many IITs they prepared, NITs they prepared some content where student can log in, and all the components will be available there, and he can connect. He can feel that he is in the lab itself, in the lab, and he is connecting all the things. And once he connect all the things, he can do the real-time experiment. So just have a look at here, a simple experiment I am showing, because I got the information that most of the members who are joining, who are attending this particular, are from, most of them from EEE and electrical sciences, basically electronics and computer science people. So if they want to design a particular experiment in the lab also, they will do in a similar way. They will take a board, they will place the circuit, they will place the integrated circuits, ICs, and they will connect where to give supply, where to give ground, where to give the inputs. All the options will be available here, and simply they will connect all these things, and they will verify the output, how it is working. In lab, how they are doing the same thing, they cannot feel. The virtual labs are created like that. But this kind of facility is available for only certain subjects, not for all the subjects. And people these days, you know very well that they are doing so many online classes, online courses they are doing. So free learning is there, Coursera is there. So many platforms are there. So they are enrolling for the different courses what they would like to learn, and they are completing those courses and gaining the knowledge. So like this also you can improve your skills. I can say one thing, that whatever faculty members, whatever scholars are getting the things from last 3 months, they never got in their service earlier, because they're staying at home and they got some time. So now this is the time for them to learn new things and they can do new courses. If you are in a college or in the school, daily activities will be there, you will not get the time to learn new things. Even though sometimes some workshops, some orientation lectures, some seminars, some faculty development programs, even though they conduct, your mind will move around the activities that you have to do, other activities that you have to do, and other responsibilities that you have to perform in the university, and you cannot pay attention in most of the time, most of the cases. But now this is the time to register for those courses through these platforms, and they are absolutely free. If your institute is having subscription, and some of the free training courses also there, you can join. And open access to research. Now the situation, if you are at college or at university, you can use the facility of library, and you can do some, you can say, refer some books, you can refer some papers, and you can do certain things. But now in this situation, you have to depend on the open access only. So these days, you know very well that publish or perish kind of situation is going on. And for the faculty members and for the scholars also, they cannot avail the facilities at their R&D centers and at the universities. But unless you publish, you will not be recognized. So you should not stop your work. Your journey will be like this in the publishing. So as a researchers, you have to publish the journal papers, and once you publish the articles, then you can apply for the grants for projects to various funding bodies, and this cycle will repeat. You will get new researchers, a faculty member will get new researchers, new PhD scholars, new MTech scholars, and they will work along with the professor and the faculty member, and they will publish the papers, they will write new proposals for funding agencies to get the project. They will apply again, new students will come, like that. Every time you will apply, this cycle will go. And logically linking these ideas, whenever you are writing the papers and whenever you are preparing the things, you have to follow these guidelines. Whatever topics that you are writing, introduce the topic, currently publish study, do the literature review. Once problem is identified, fix the objectives, try to have the methodology, fix the methodology. And once you got the results and summary and findings, interpretation of the findings you have to do, and implications for the field, again you have to go to the problem in the field. So this thing you know very well. I'm not spending time here. So this thing, whatever I'm showing, this you can do at home also. Only thing is, the people who are working with instruments, and experimentation is must. For them it is a problem, for remaining people, the person who is working in the in the MBA department, who is working in some management department or in the commerce or in some other departments, for them every time experimentation related lab facility is not required. They require resources and the internet, and the system is enough for them. And manuscript writing tips I have given, but I think this is not required for you. Everybody knows these things. Once you submit the manuscript, how the process will go, just I will take. Once you submit your articles, why I'm giving this, because earlier, once you submit your articles, some process is going on at editorial office, and in the time period, whatever time period is there, in the time period they will respond and they will give the decision whether accepted or rejected or minor or major, whatever things they will give. But these days we are facing a problem with all the journals that once we submit articles, they are saying that now enough staff is not available, resources are not available, so we are unable to take the papers. Sometimes they are telling that this will take long time, please be patient. So the review process, whatever review process is there, that process is taking long time these days. So generally what happened, the submission to the publication, any journal generally will take 3 to 12 months time. Some journals will take more than that, but once you submit manuscript, first editorial will be assigned, rapid rejection or peer review. Initially the editor will check the paper and whether that paper, if that paper is not suitable, he will reject, and if paper is having good content, then he will forward to peer review. And editor sources reviewers, he will find the reviewers suitable to that particular topic and he will submit. And once the reviewer evaluate, accept or reject or revise whatever decision he has given, that revised manuscript will come to you. And once you, the manuscript with comments will come to you, and you revise the manuscript and send back to the reviewers. Once sent back to the editor, and editor will forward to reviewer. Finally, it will go to the publication. This process is also getting late these days. So predatory publishing you have to avoid. These days, once you are at the lockdown, or once you are at away from your institute, so many journals they try to attract you. So they will say that our general cost is only 500 rupees if you publish the paper. So once you go to those journals, no credit you will get. So your work will be wasted. So predatory publishing, they will search for so many other ways to attract you. So like you can see in this picture. Uh, and for the researchers, my advice is so many options are available. Directory of Open Access Journals, DOAJ site is available, where you can find the journals who are publishing articles in the open access mode. You know very well, open access mode means editor will take some amount from you regarding the publication, and once the article is published, he will keep your article in the public domain. That means anybody can download your article, anybody can read, and they can cite your article. So all the options, the citation, you can improve the citations by choosing open access. But open access is not always, researchers cannot afford money all the time. So they will go with subscription based. But these days you got the time to read the papers, to read some journals. So go with these kind of websites. DOAJ, Director of Open Access Journals. If you go to this website, where you can find out, just type the keyword what area you are working. So you will get all the open access journals, and you can download the articles and you can read those articles. And elsewhere also providing open access journals list they are providing. If you go to this particular site, and whatever the articles that are published connected to your research, you can download all those articles and you can read. So this is another option you have. And Science Direct is another option to you. So in the Science Direct, regarding your particular subject keyword, you can search, and otherwise also you can search, general wise also you can search. And you can see whether that journal is open access or subscription based, and based on that you can get some information. And General Finder, some of the researchers will ask that what I am working in this so and so area, which journal I have to select, how to choose a particular journal. So elsewhere is providing that option. Find journal option is there. If you go to this site and if you type a particular journal name, automatically that keyword related journals, it will show all the possible journals it will show, and you can go with those, any one of that journal depending on the policy of that journal. And Springer is also providing a option to you. A Springer General Suggestor option is there. If you go to this particular site, there you can type the manuscript title or the keywords you can type here. Based on the keyword and based on the manuscript title, suppose you prepared one manuscript, you just simply type your manuscript title there. You just put your manuscript title there. So it will find, Springer is having option to find a suitable journal, and it will suggest you a suitable journal. And similarly, Weeli also providing that option to you. In Weeli also you can search, find journal option is there. So whatever journals I am showing, all these journals, all these are the good publishers, Elsewhere, Springer, Talleyrand, Francis, Weeli, IEEE, and all this. So all these publishers are providing an option to you. So to download your articles based on open access, and to read those articles, as well as once you prepared your article, to which journal you have to submit, that option also they are giving, that information also they are giving. Even IEEE, you know very well that in IEEE also you can find the books, conferences, journals, magazines, and all those kind of things, simply typing the keyword, and you can find the best journal for the publication. And these days, you know very well that unless you have the RCID ID, RCID ID you can create easily. Unless you have the RCID ID, some of the journals will not accept the submission of your paper. So once you have the RCID ID, whatever papers that you have publishing, or good journal papers you are publishing, all those will be merged. All those will be connected to our RCID. And once you got the RCID ID, with respect to that RCID ID, sometimes you can log into the submission system also. For every journal, suppose you are submitting an article to a journal, in that case, you need not to have the username and password every time. Suppose you have the RCID username and password. Once you have created that with RCID username and password, you can submit your article. Even though you forget the username and password of your that particular journal submission system, with RCID you can log in into that system. So coming to the next database is the Scopus. With the Scopus, Scopus is also providing so many options to you to find a journal, as well as you can search and you can identify what people are doing and in which area they are working. So how many citations they have, what is the H index, all those kind of analysis you can do by sitting at home. You need not to go to any place. So whatever options I am showing, all these options are available with everyone. And once you have these options, you don't need a library, physical library is required. By sitting in front of your system, you can find out which university is doing what, a particular author. If you want to find out what a particular person is doing, what kind of research he is doing, everything you can find here. This is my page where you can see the publications and citations and H index and all this. And once you have the Scopus, be connected with the Mendeley. Some of them will claim that I don't have the Scopus access, our university is not having subscription of Scopus. Then how to find out the things, how to get my H index, how to get my citations? Once you create Mendeley, then if it is connected with RCID, then automatically your Scopus will be connected with, through Scopus you can connect it to Mendeley. Once you connect to Mendeley, next time onwards you need not to enter, you need not to go to Scopus. From Mendeley itself you can find out how many publications you have, what is the impact of that, and in which areas you are working, what is H index, citations, everything you will. This is alternative, whatever I am showing, this is alternative to the Scopus to you. This is not the complete alternative, but at least you can see the statistics. And you know, ResearchGate, everyone are having these days ResearchGate. Through ResearchGate you can, this is the time to explore and express yourself by keeping your research, and you can have a chat with the people through ResearchGate. You can interact with the professors, you can interact with the good researchers, and whatever doubts you are having, those doubts you can get the clarification. And with this media, you can continue your research. Whatever doubts you are getting, whatever problems you are getting, all this you can have. And next thing is the Publons. These days everybody should have this particular account. If you are a reviewer, Publon account is must. Once you do review for a particular paper from a good journal, they will give a credit to you through Publons. So how many publications you have, how many times they are cited, H index, according to that, this is connected to the Web of Science. Whatever that is projecting here, that is connected to the Web of Science. And how many reviews you have done, all those things people can analyze through Publons. Try to have this Publons account also. This is connected with the Web of Science Researcher ID. Create Web of Science Researcher ID and Publons you can connect. And Microsoft Academic is also giving the things to you. You can search certain journals, certain papers, but Microsoft Academic is not that much popular and not that much reliable when compared with the Scopus and Web of Science. But at least you will get certain information related to a particular area and a particular person related analysis you can do. And finally, you can see this. You are attending so many conferences, workshops, webinars, so many things you are attending these days. And finally, whenever your college opens, this may be the situation to all the departments. You will be ready with all the certificates, engineer certificates. But question arises here whether all the certificates, whatever certificates you have gained, whatever you are bringing to the university, coming to the department with all those, whether you got knowledge regarding all the topics or not. Simply by logging in at a particular time and spending time 1 hour and simply putting in a mute, and after that you will claim that an acquired certificate. Those certificates are waste unless you have that particular knowledge. Don't My suggestion is don't attend to all the webinars whatever they are posting these days through WhatsApp, through mail. You are getting so many requests, so many universities, so many colleges are conducting. Once you have the zeal to learn the thing out of that particular topic, then only you register. And once you register, pay your attention, try to get something out of that. So from last 1 hour I am giving the lecture, and out of this you may get some tips, some thing. I will not say that entire whatever 50 slides I have shown, all these are complete information and very essential. I will not say like that. But out of these 50 slides, at least 1 or 2 slides attracted you, and you feel that if I adopt these things and if I adjust myself towards like this, then I can the word I will use, at least I can survive. So in this situation I can handle the situation. Okay, so with this I am concluding my session. And once again I thank the MPS College for giving me this opportunity to interact with the great community, faculty as well as the student community, to share my thoughts as well as uh, to have a interaction in a virtual way with all of you. So I thank Sudipta ji. He is a good friend of mine. We are also doing collaboratively every time whenever we discuss with Sudipta ji regarding research only. We will discuss. We never discussed about our personal related things. He is dedicated like that, and I am also connected with him like that. And we have good research related interaction. And I got good friend from IMPS. Thank you, Sudipta ji, for giving me this opportunity to interact with your college people as well as with the community. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, Professor Madhav,
Sir,
for this wonderful presentation.
thank
We
you.
hope that all of you have found this session very informative. Here I would like to thank all the participants for your patience and cooperation throughout the webinar session. We are privileged to have in attendance so many distinguished participants and our honorable resource person. I would like to conclude by again thanking Professor Madhav, who has honored us by presenting this wonderful webinar. I also want to thank you all for your active participation in this session. Now you can ask if you have any queries, you can ask in the chat box. After that, I will share the feedback link form, in the chat box, and please do not leave this session before filling up that form, as after filling up that form, you will get your e-certificate within 14 working days. Thank you all again. Thank you, Dr. Madhav. Now I want to request our respected principal sir for the closing speech. After that, we will end this webinar session. Thank you all again and good night. Over to you, principal sir.
First of all, thank you very much, Professor Madhav, for sharing us the very informative and valuable suggestions that how the faculty members and students too can survive in this pandemic situation to fight against COVID-19 and also parallelly to keep up their studies, their research. And it's a really big thing that in one picture you have shown that it's really the teaching community is doing really hard to prepare the materials for the students, and they are trying their best to deliver their best lectures to them. But it should be a request to the students community that they should understand the labor and the efforts the teachers are continuously giving for your betterment to shape up your futures. And we are really lucky enough that we got such a nice session from Dr. Madhav, and he is really a jewel person in this his domain. His expertization is just beyond my words. Really nice person, and as he mentioned me, thank you that we have a good friendship regarding our research. We jointly carry out many works in future too, sir. We will carry out many more works, and hopefully the participants can find the session very informative. And surely I can assure that through this information you can really flourish yourself in both academic and in research careers. And as we know, the research is one of the essential part for the academician nowadays. And I will request the sincere and active students too that they should also make their little bit progress in the research careers also while doing your UG courses. It's not like that that research is always associated with PG and PhD courses. In UG also itself, you can carry out good numbers of publications if you have good professor and supervisor like Dr. BTV Madhav. Thank you, sir. I heartily thanks you that you have accepted our invitation. You have given your valuable time for this wonderful session. I personally find this very, very informative. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you, sir. It's an honor to me. Thank you.
So participants, if you have any questions, please you may write in the chat box, and Dr. Madhav is available with us. Then I will share a few questions with him so that we can have some interactive session, question and answer. Actually, sir, I did not find any question. The feedback coming is really nice. It's a great. Everybody is writing. Thank you so much, sir. Great explanation. Great topic. You have covered both academics and research websites, how to increase their citations, different point of view. All major things you have covered in only 1 hour session. So really participants are also thankful to you. They express their gratitude through their text in the chat box. So till now, sir, I didn't find any questions, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I am leaving.
Okay, sir.
Thank
you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good evening to all. Good night
Yes.
to all. Yeah. Thank you.
Good night, sir.
Good night,
Good
sir.
night,
Good
sir.
night. Good night. Good night.
So participants, please fill up the feedback form provided in the chat box.